And now from east of the Pacific to west of parts unknown, south of Mars, north of hell, here are the smartest minds in the sport of professional wrestling. This is Brainbuster Radio.
You only learn the way you are inside when life gives you the test. Will you back down, turn and run, or stand up with the best? When your back's to the wall, what will your answer be? Will you run for the door? Will you run out on me like it's hard? It's no hope for
How the hell you doing, Brainiacs? Long Island Iced Tea here, ready to talk Pro-Graps with you. And if I sound crystal clear better than ever, Brainiacs, it's because I'm coming to you from some of our remote location Marburger Studios, a palace, I would call this place, and really the perfect setting to talk about the perfect moment in professional wrestling where rock and roll, where competition, wins and losses mattering, nostalgia, surprises, competition, it's all converging into a great moment in history. And here we are, professional wrestling, better than it's ever been. We've got possibly the greatest holder of the Money in the Bank right now, and we just had possibly the biggest non-WWE show to happen in 20 plus years. We're going to talk all about it, Brainiacs. Tweet it, read it, tout it, shout it, be all about it at the Brainbusters on Twitter, Instagram Junior, and Spacebook. This week we got Vinman here on limited dates, and Vinman is all elite. He's buying the merch on Pro Wrestling Tees. He's making sure he's going to be there for All Out. Vinman is anti-WWE now. It's his new gimmick.
I'm not quite sure where you got that information, Long Island.
Dave Meltzer told me.
I wouldn't quite say. Well, there you go. But yeah, a groundbreaking week in the world of professional wrestling. Brock Lesnar, the Beast in the Bank. Bayley cashing in the Money in the Bank, becoming the SmackDown Women's Champion, and to top it all off, maybe the highlight of this week, Charlotte Flair driving the pace car for the Coca-Cola 600, Triple J.
Do you think it's, at least for me, it's a missed opportunity, that Bayley didn't decorate that briefcase with her, smiley faces and that hugger emoji. And, I imagine we could be saying Bayley in the Bank every week, but, unfortunately, at least for the fans' point of view, she cashed it in that night. I'm a little upset at that, and I'm hoping Brock Lesnar spray paints a big boombox on that briefcase.
I think most of the people listening, Triple J, forgot about everything you just talked about because we are coming less than 24 hours since All Elite Double or Nothing show, which I know Moose the Mark is ready to talk about.
In Long Island, there's certain, the moon landing happened, I believe, 50 years ago today. Woodstock.
Allegedly.
The anniversary of Woodstock. I mean, we've got another huge landmark event for human culture that's going to be remembered 50 years from now. The day the war started, the day that Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega came in to save the sport of professional wrestling.
I don't know about saved it, but they definitely made it interesting. We also have Dr. Mil Calzones on here to press buttons, make us all sound good, and chime in on the important issues. Doctor, from a medical perspective, what's the biggest thing going on right now? Because you got Brock walking around with a ghetto blaster in the bank, and you've got Cody Rhodes smashing Triple H's persona in effigy.
I don't know. I think the biggest thing going on is Brock Lesnar just rocking out with that boombox Money in the Bank. I wonder what's in there that he's listening to that he keeps bumping his head to.
I like to think that Brock is doing that while listening to some Beastie Boys. I think he gets down to some Hello Nasty.
Yeah. That looked like some, Rage Against the Machine head nodding, at least from my perspective.
Do you think Brock's killing in the name of when he's doing that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he may be. But, yeah, you're right. We're talking about Double or Nothing. Dr. Calzones, did you watch this? I haven't spoken
Wait,
to
the T-shirt company has a pay-per-view?
you. Yes.
No, I've heard about Dub or Nothing. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, but
Or read
everyone else on the show, including Vinman and myself, we were paying customers to a degree. I guess you could say, Vinman. Both of us watched it. Did you even watch the buy-in, the whole pre-show with that casino battle royale on the singles match?
No, it was too expensive to watch the pre-show.
It was free.
That's I don't think I have that money on me right now.
Well, you got to pay for the internet.
In Dr. Calzones' defense, he's always, since I've known him, only ever made an effort to watch only WWE, if any wrestling at all. And whenever he would watch WCW back in the day, it was because he was being forced to. Is that correct, Doctor?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, now no one's forcing me to watch AEW. But I'll do what I've been doing lately. I'll read all about it, and I'll catch up, and then I'll be back.
Yeah,
whatever's in the papers.
That's very common because Moose the Mark will tell you a lot of people are reading about AEW's Double or Nothing. The only difference between you and them, Doctor, is that you're not going on the internet and saying how much better than WWE it was, even though you didn't watch.
No, I'm just reading what happened. I'm just the outcomes. I'm not reading anyone's opinions. Just straight information. This person won. This person won. This person lost. This person came up.
Well,
so obviously, what's causing this is Double or Nothing. Moose the Mark, could you give us your unbiased take on what happened last night?
I mean, I think it was a perfectly executed show. I mean, this is the barely legal. Was barely legal the first ECW pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Or was it Living?
It kind of reminds me. I don't know. I just had.
No, it was barely legal.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, I'm talking barely legal, except the power didn't almost go out and cancel the thing nationwide. I thought this was
barely legal with money.
Exactly.
But no Terry Funk.
You want to talk about landmark moments. You want to talk about betrayals. Shane Douglas throwing down the NWA title. You have Bret Hart, recently inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame, who escorted his niece into her match at the last pay-per-view. Was that a WrestleMania?
I think
that
it
was
was
a
WrestleMania.
Yeah. And he unveils the AEW All Elite Wrestling World Championship. That's huge. Say nothing about John Moxley.
Well, Moose,
but even better than that, I mean, there was great wrestling on the show too.
There was, but for people who didn't see Bret the Hitman Hart come out, that was, I think, the shocking moment of the night more than anything. Can you kind of paint the picture for someone like Dr. Calzones, what happened when Bret Hart came out and revealed the AEW World Title?
Oh yeah, I mean, so he came out and he's dressed in his usual Bret, gear. I believe he wore shorts, or at least cowboy boots.
I'm picturing
and he unveils the title, and he never once shows it to the hard camera. He just kind of shows it at an angle. We never get a good glimpse at it whatsoever.
We never get that hero shot.
No, we never get the hero shot. And then was the main event for the title? Is Chris Jericho the champion now?
He's in the title match.
Okay, that just there right there says something about this show. That Moose the Mark doesn't even know who the champion is. Now I'm an astute observer, so maybe this says more about Moose the Mark than the show. But you should know, Moose, that Hangman Adam Page won the Casino Battle Royale, and he entered a world title match against the winner of Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. The winner of the match now.
But was the winner of that the champion? Is he going for a title match?
No.
Did you see referee Paul Turner hold up that belt before the match?
No, I did not.
And it was not.
I didn't see Bret Hart hold up that belt.
Who could? That thing looks like it weighs 150 pounds. I don't know if there's anyone on the AEW roster who could hold that belt above their head.
Maybe Luchasaurus.
Hell yeah.
That's a big dude.
He's got a master's degree. I was rooting hard for Luchasaurus in the Casino Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Him or Maxwell Jacob Freeman, because he's better than me.
I feel like we should kind of start with this Casino Battle Royale. This was the world's first impression of AEW, and I got to admit, I wasn't that impressed from the get-go. If I hadn't already bought my thing 3 weeks ago, Like, I don't know if I would have been convinced. I mean,
You called your cable provider 3 weeks ago to make sure that you were in.
that's right. I told him to mail me my receipt so I could send it in and get a free free set of beer koozies.
The thing about I'll say that the BR Live app watching this pay-per-view Brainiacs was great. It was seamless. It worked perfectly. You get 2 congruent streams. So I watched Triple J split it with me. The Marburgers refused to pay for this pay-per-view for us this time around, so we had to go out of pocket for the thing. But it worked. It was a great stream. Actually, the future in-laws were over. Miss Elizabeth's parents were over, and they were saying, wait, this is a stream? That is a great picture. And they loved it as well. So a good broadcast, I would say, overall. But back to the Casino Battle Royale, the big thing for that, they missed the spot with the cigarette going out on Joey Janela.
Yeah, I feel like there were some guys who should not have been in this Geek Battle Royal. First of all, I like the gimmick with the picking cards and stuff, but like without getting people's individual entrances, like the Rumble format isn't nearly as exciting. You know?
Yeah, Moose, I'll agree with you. I mean, I think they tried to do some comedy bits, and like Long Island was saying, they had too many big spots going on at the same time, so you just caught some things in the background, and it's almost like they were trying to replicate the battle royal from All In, the over the budget battle royal, and I think they came up really short if that's what they were aiming for.
I'll say this, I like the idea. I think it's different. I was intrigued by it. The execution, not so much, and part of it was you had an extreme mishmash of talent, all trying to get their shit in. But there was not a good agent putting together a match like this. For a match like this where you got all this stuff going on and you got to make sure certain spots get on the camera, you got to have somebody like a Pat Patterson back there putting together this match, and I don't think that's what happened. I think that was where they dropped the ball.
They really needed a Pat Patterson going, okay, Jimmy Havoc, you and this guy do the hardcore spots, and the lucha dinosaur, you wait for it to be over before you go for the choke slam. That's really what they needed.
Do you think Malenko was the agent, or who?
He just got hired, didn't he?
Well, maybe if Billy Gunn was he was out there working the match, so maybe either Jerry Lynn or
Vinman. Do you think the 50-man battle royal at Super Showdown is going to be more organized?
Oh yes, and it will be better. I will say that.
Well, that's because it's going to have a Yokozuna knockoff.
It'll be as good or better than Double or Nothing.
Equivalent or better.
Wait, was Cheeseburger?
Cheeseburger was not.
No, which is surprising because this was his kind of match.
But you had Luchasaurus, you had Jungle Boy, you had that the amputee in there, you had Orange Cassidy, who I guess there were 22. God, what else would you?
Who was that baby oil man?
Yeah,
Michael Nakazawa. Michael Nakazawa. He's the best. I love Michael Nakazawa, who is as good or better than a lot of the talent in the ring, but he just wasn't his night. And I think
wasn't his night.
We really got to point out.
Well, he drew spades, I think so.
Yes. I like the Casino Battle Royale because you could root for suits. That's what I was doing for it. I couldn't just pick one guy, so I was.
You're going with diamonds.
I was rooting for diamonds the whole way.
Yeah, I feel like next year they're going to encourage people to show up, like get tattoos. Like I've been Team Diamond since the first Double or Nothing, man.
So yeah, I mean, I think everyone agrees. It's a good plan, but it was not executed well in its freshman outing.
Well, whatever. It was still entertaining and really cool to see the Luchasaurus come. So
it was good once they got down to like the final.
Now I gotta ask Moose the Mark because there's a lot of chatter in the house while we were watching the buy-in. What was good old JR saying about the Luchasaurus, or was he not on commentary?
He wasn't. No, he was not on commentary during the pre-show.
Oh my fucking God! I can't wait to hear JR talk about Luchasaurus. He's a dinosaur. He's a dinosaur with a master's degree, and he knows karate. Oh man, he's a very talented dinosaur man.
It's like kept talking about how Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix, they were kids, used to wrestle on their beds, wreck box springs.
Can we talk about the tables that we're seeing in AEW? These are not strong style tables, but they're not WWE tables either. These are like hybrids.
Yeah, these things looked. I don't know where would you see these in real life, man? Are these exclusive to AEW? Is this a new breed of table?
I think they went and they're trying to revolutionize the game and
they are wider than regular tables, I would think also.
Yeah,
I'd also like to point out that their choice of surprisingly soft lighting and stage equipment is also looked pretty a lot more convincing than like Miz and Shane at WrestleMania. I didn't see any feathers or packaging peanuts.
Oh yeah, I mean you're jumping to the end of the show, I think. Right? Yeah. We'll get there. Let's try to go in order here. Anybody have anything else to say about the Casino Battle Royale?
Does anyone know? Did Joey Janela die yet? Is he a fucking legend yet?
Because he did. Fine.
He is okay. Because that was amazing. He went through the table, but his goal in AEW moves the mark.
He's what?
His goal in AEW, Joey
What
Janela.
is that?
He cut a promo. He said, "The day I die in that fucking wrestling ring is the day I become a fucking legend and live forever." So you have that to look forward to every time he's in an AEW ring, which I think is worth the price of admission alone.
Yeah, I'm telling you, him and Orange Cassidy should not have been in the opening match. Although I will say they were funnier than the librarian sketch, which I'm not a being an elite guy. I didn't get it. Didn't seem to go over too well. I don't know what the deal with it was.
This is also why Brainbuster Radio is the best goddamn pro wrestling show out there in the world today, because you get the perspectives. You've got Moose the Mark, who is watching this from Uncle Dave perspective, Vinman, who's hate watching AEW, Triple J, who's critical, and Dr. Calzones, who's reading about it. And then you have me, who I am a Being the Elite person. Let me tell you, I watched every Being the Elite episode leading up to this show. I watched every Nightmare Family Road to Double or Nothing episode all day long leading up to the show. I watched the documentary on AEW's own YouTube channel. I watched all the content, and I was ready for it. And if you watched all that, it did make the Casino Battle Royale a lot more interesting because I knew about the different angles. It also made the librarian stuff really fun, and I was hoping they'd get a match. We need to get Pretty Peter Avalon and Leva Bates in a match, Triple J. I think maybe with a book in the air, and they got to climb a ladder, retrieve it to become the librarian.
Yeah, I mean, I don't keep up on those Being the Elites like you do, but I was privy to what was going on in that backstage.
It's like that, I'm telling you, it's like if you're watching WrestleMania without ever watching Raw or SmackDown or 205 Live. It just makes a lot of it just a lot of it just goes over your head, I guess. But I will say with that angle, Moose the Mark. I know some people who think it's kind of problematic the way they're portraying librarians, especially for a company claiming to be so inclusive and progressive. It's kind of troublesome.
Well, librarians are, it's about where you punch, and you're punching up at like the librarian industrial complex. I mean, everyone knows that libraries are super well funded and really, these people are getting rich off of being librarians. So, it's okay for AEW's the little guy. They're punching up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the media covers that. But there's other things the media's. You've got Congress people who are all about AEW, and a lot of good feedback on social media from what I've seen so far. But Triple J, would you say that you said this Casino Battle Royale wasn't better than the All In Battle Royal? But what about as a show on overall? All In or Double or Nothing?
To be truly accurate, I'd have to go back and watch All In. The only thing I'm going to say is Double or Nothing. Up until the last three matches, I wasn't really feeling very high on the card. And that was probably because there were no personal issues that were involved. But those last three matches were all great. You had personal issues being settled. And I think that's what people are going to remember about it, because that's what I'm remembering about it. Perhaps All In may have been better from top to bottom, but Double or Nothing, they closed it out really nice, and that's what people are going to remember. So, right now, if I'm on the spot, I would say as a total package, I recall All In being better, but I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and watch it.
Mustamark, what does Uncle Dave, which ticket stub does Uncle Dave think will be worth more in the future?
I think definitely this one. I mean, it's sad to say, but both G1 Supercard and All In, which are super historic things. I mean, Ring of Honor is involved somehow, and I don't know if it's Sinclair or just Ring of Honor in general, but it doesn't feel as pure as All Elite Wrestling's first big show.
Well, I was entertained, and I don't need personal issues all up and down the show to get excited, especially, Vinman, when there were two, not one, two fucking Kongs on one show.
Yeah, that's right. I'll give my opinion here, and it's probably going to be unpopular, but you watch this show, and then you watch any other Ring of Honor show or New Japan show or some combination thereof, and I couldn't really tell much of a difference. It's the same guys going out there and just having matches with not a ton of story really built into it, with not a ton of truly elite top talent. The only difference I saw on this particular program compared to some of the other independent shows I've seen recently is this show had to rely on ex-WWE stars like Chris Jericho and Dustin Rhodes to really carry the show. Those guys were the stars. And so, that makes me think, those guys aren't going to be around forever. Where's the talent coming from? Where's the star power that's going to carry this company? I did not see anything that made this, very historical or anything like that or groundbreaking. I mean, there was some good matches. I think there's some decent guys on here, but, being the greatest show of all time, I mean, unless you're going to tell me it's the best because it was the most recent one and happened last night, I can't really say that.
Vinman, so you don't think Jungle Boy is going to be the next Hulk Hogan or Steve Austin?
No. In fact, some of the people I were watching with were very confused as to how this guy, got
who let him in the building
without buying a ticket.
What are you talking about? Jungle Boy is, I think, going to be one of the great stars of the future. He is as good or better than Marco Stunt, who is already critically acclaimed. So they're both, I think, destined to be huge AEW stars.
Jumpin Jacob J, you'll appreciate this. The way I looked at Jungle Boy was that they had an idea for this character, and they really wanted Craig Icavino for it, but they couldn't find him. So they got this Jungle Boy.
They shrunk down Bruiser Brody and took the intensity away from him, and you've got Jungle Boy.
I mean, you've got a lot of good Ehos in AEW, and you guys are really selling them short. We've got Eho de Luke Perry, we've got Eho de Brian Pillman, we've got Eho de Pentagon. I mean, Mustamark, you got to tell these two how these young studs have it in their blood. They will be stars. They need to be given a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, AEW is a family affair. We've got a husband and wife behind the scenes. We've got brothers, half brothers, Lucha brothers,
Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers.
Can we talk about?
Might as well be brothers.
Can we talk about that? Long Island, you may have picked this up. Was it just me, or were people actually chanting "Who are you" whenever the Super Smash Brothers came out? Even I knew who they were, and I don't watch every independent thing.
They were, but the thing is,
was that worthy? Was that worthy for a double lights out moment?
This lights out moment, that's the thing. People think lights out moments are supposed to be revealing someone you already know, but that's not what this was about. And the reason why people don't know, look, did you see the Super Smash Brothers? They look nothing like they did back when they were PWG regulars. They are jacked now. I mean, they are fucking jacked. I mean, you've got Uno is just fucking ripped. And now they have minions too. And they have minions. They've got human furniture.
What were they calling them? What were they calling the minions? The Heartless?
I don't know what they're called. I didn't hear the name they gave them, but I'm calling them Minions.
Vinman, you know what we're talking about with that lights out moment, and it came back on, and it looked like one of the War Raiders lost about 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know me. Anytime lights are going out, I'm all about
Best video game gimmick since Glacier. Can we agree on that?
Whenever they start freezing people, then we'll have that discussion.
The only thing that it was missing was when the lights went out before they went on. They should have kept them off for a while, and they should have played some music over the PA that went da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na, da-da-da-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-
name.
they're not. I think that's the thing, right? Like, if you listen to the commentary, they never said, "Oh, those are the Super Smash Brothers." King. that's player Uno, player Dos. What they're doing is from
big fans of the computer games from Japan.
yes.
They are.
That move they're doing is called Bubble Bobble. From a game called Bubble Bobble.
I cannot wait till they win a match at Excalibur, who's doing such a good job screaming the names of moves. Finally, someone calling out names of moves and yelling it enthusiastically. I can't wait till we hear some JR saying, "Oh, an Irish whip, hamburger time! It's hamburger time! It's over!" And then the Super Smash Brothers win. They are video game enthusiasts, King.
The gamer experience.
Is that what they're going to be called? The video game experience? I don't. Yeah, they did say
they get jacked.
Fuck. And player Dose is even bigger. A lot more Mountain Dew and Doritos for player Dose. Getting real jacked for AEW. I was that and Bret Hart were the two big shockers to me. The one at the end of the night was good, but not surprising to anyone, right?
With two lights out, I was expecting the Kings of Wrestling at the bare minimum.
That's yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say they delivered on that part.
You expected the Kings of Wrestling, but you got King Koopa. I don't think it's that bad. The thing is, AEW was going to give us some surprises. Triple J, how do you rank the ones we got? Would you say they were sufficient? They were good? They were quality surprises and scares and thrills?
Well, I mean, let's identify what the surprises were first. Bret Hart was a surprise. That was very big, the biggest of the night, I think, and it went over very well. Except he wouldn't give us a good view of the title. And
apparently, it's fucking heavy. First of all, and apparently he fell off. What happened, Vinman? He fell off the stage.
Yeah, fell down some steps or something.
What are you laughing for, Vinman?
I mean, I just hope he learned his lesson.
I mean, the only thing I noticed was he was walking like straight back. He wasn't going to go through any of those impact, the impact arena tubes or anything.
Well, Brainiacs, we actually have some footage here, Vinman. We can go after that incident. Alicia Atut interviewed Bret Hart. It has not aired on any social yet, but we got a hold of it through Dr. Calzones and the Marburgers. Let's play that right now. Hi, this is Alicia Atut, backstage interviewer for AEW, and I'm here with Bret the Hitman Hart. Hitman, how was it going out there showing off the AEW title?
Oh, it was just such a real special occasion. It was always great coming out here and, seeing all the fans and, showing them this title. And I want everyone to really, see just every sort of gleaming surface. I want everyone to get a real good, look at it. So, I want everyone to just drink it in. It's so beautiful,
It's a real impressive title. And how did it feel to be the first man to ever touch the AEW golden belt there?
Yeah, it's a real privilege, most people don't touch this title until they earned it. And, the fact of the matter is, touching this title, it's got me kind of wanting to get back in the game, just strap my boots on, get back up to that second rope and, just start competing again. And maybe I'll win this title in a month or in 2 months, who knows?
So
once I get back to that locker room, you know.
So you're telling us that we might be able to see the Hitman competing at All Out?
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, I would say almost definitely. You know, you could definitely expect me there. You could print that on the news or whatever the internets are. Find wherever we found that tape at the Tom McGee match was stolen from me. Maybe you could tell everyone I'm coming back to wrestling in my first match. I'm going to be facing Kota Ibushi. So.
So, Hitman, you say you're coming back, but you appear to be walking with a limp. I didn't see you get it physical out there. What happened?
Oh yeah, I was just kind of walking back, and it fell. They have these two little, kind of, tunnels, and we come out the tunnels, and I was walking backwards because again the bell, I was just kind of, a little blinded from it. I was just thinking about, just going over some tactics and strategy for my match with Kota Ibushi. And, I just fell off the edge right then and there, so I broke my knee. I dislocated my shin. I'm hurt, I'm in a bad way, but, I'm still confident that I will be wrestling at All Out in August. And you know what? I'm probably going to do some matches at the Fighter Fest too. Just want to shake the ring rust off,
So you'll be at the Fighter Fest as well.
Yeah, Fighter Fest. I'm going against Nick Gage and Jimmy Havoc. So,
oh my, this is breaking news here. AEW fans, Bret the Hitman Hart scheduled for Fighter Fest against Jimmy fucking Havoc and Nick Gage, who's not even a contracted AEW wrestler, and will apparently face Kota Ibushi at Chicago's All Out event after taking a spill at Double or Nothing tonight in Las Vegas. Hitman, thank you so much for joining us.
It wasn't really the first time, I've ever fell, obviously, I fell a bunch of times, but, I remember one time, I was walking kind of like this, I was walking back from the stage, I think it was after WrestleMania, after Shawn, and, I slipped and I fell off the ramp. I looked under my heel and, there it was a banana peel. So, I didn't know. I went back, I said, Anvil, did you do this? We just kind of ribbing. And, I look in the corner, I just see Owen. He's there, he's just bawling, just tears coming out of his eyes. He was just so, excited and happy because he ribbed me, and he was so happy I wasn't hurt. And he was so, that was Owen. So,
oh well, thank you for the time, Hitman. We'll see you at Fighter Fest.
All right, thanks a lot.
The Hitman going to be at Fighter Fest. He's warming up for that big Kota Ibushi match. Interpromotional match between WWE and New Japan at an All Elite show.
I'm interested to see the Hitman try to avoid staple guns, barbed wire, and light bulbs against Nick Gage and Jimmy Havoc. That's going to be fun. AEW Vinman's giving us a lot of shit we've never seen before.
Yeah, if you had asked me, what's something that will definitely not happen at this show, I would have told you Bret Hart showing up, and there it was. I was proven wrong.
I can't get over Bret Hart being at the Double or Nothing. It might be the best. It's the best thing to happen in wrestling this year, next to Kofi Kingston winning the title. I'm going to say
how
it's
long
up there.
do you think this was in the works? I mean,
I bet like 45 minutes. I bet this probably wasn't even presented to him until that weekend.
Do you think like Cody just called him and was like, "Hey, you want to screw over Vince?"
Oh my god! What about the MJF line, Moose the Mark, where MJF said, "Hey Brett, look out! Someone's running in the ring after you," and then he started laughing. Was that in poor taste?
I mean, there were way more poor taste jokes he could have made. I'll say that.
Well, he has a lot of poor taste, that MJF. He tried to come out there and make a name off the Hitman. I noticed that. And
well, At least people were taking a side and booing him and giving him shit instead of, chanting both these guys or both these teams. You like to see that in a professional wrestling card.
I mean, Triple J, that's what I'm saying. It's very rare these days in pro wrestling where I think we all, reached a consensus and we were booing the shit out of that entitled yuppie brat MJF. I mean, do you remember another time where the entire crowd was booing the same guy all together?
It doesn't happen that much nowadays.
No.
Honestly, NXT probably does the best about that. Even WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan, they usually like both guys, which is something that is bad for the business, I think.
I think it says a lot about what a true piece of shit Maxwell Jacob Friedman is. Side note, Vinman, Miss Elizabeth's father, huge MJF fan, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was all about this guy. I mean, from the beginning of the show to the end of the show, just couldn't wait till when he was going to show up next.
This guy wears Vineyard Vines in Burberry, just like me. He's a big fan.
Yeah, most of the audience probably does not relate to that. That's why they're booing him.
Very few.
You may want to say that this is a company with something for everybody.
It definitely is, I would say. If you love the Hitman, if you love Glacier, if you love nostalgia acts like Dustin Rhodes, it's got that. If you love attitude killers and you love flippy shit and you love cigarette burning Jungle Boy and all sorts of craziness, it's also got that. If you love Kongs, it's got that. And that is another big surprise. Back to the Kongs, Vin, man. Awesome Kong inserted into the women's match. Fatal 4-way, straight off the set of Glow. The Welfare Queen looked as good as ever.
Yeah, she looked strong, and she even, she took it to that Nyla Rose, who looked very formidable herself. My goodness, did she look tough? I mean, you got to say that, I don't know if they're having a women's title in this league or anything like that, but I would say Awesome Kong is the favorite at this moment.
Paul's a little overrated.
What'd you think of Awesome Kong joining the fray there, Musta Mark?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a surprise. I especially everyone saw Brandy Rhodes come out in her gear. It was a great little swerve, as they say in this business. Yeah.
Now, do you think this is a one-off with Kong, or do you think she's going to be part of the roster?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on how busy her schedule is. I mean, this could have been a one-off thing. I don't know. Where she is in her career.
Why would you have a one-off at your very first show for a talent like that?
Would not be good.
Make any sense.
That would be terrible for this women's division to have prestige and be taken seriously with how good women's wrestling is ever in a few other places, especially WWE. You got to have Awesome Kong and Aja Kong both on the roster full time.
Well, I don't know if you have to have that, but I don't think you could tease it and then not, cash in on it later. I mean, I think there's some big stars here. Allie, I'm a huge fan of, and I became a huge fan of Hikaru Shida. I was very impressed with her.
Which one is that again, Vinman? Is that the Freddie Mercury one?
No.
Yeah.
He's talking about the tall
one that started wrestling when she was like 12.
The one that was tall that had like a big fur thing on her shoulder.
Did she get the pinfall?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Well, there was a lot of great showings by the women, I think, at AEW. Potential to maybe not compete with WWE, which is the best women's wrestling, I think, by light years compared to any other company. But to be a legit number 2, there's some space. Although not having Tessa Blanchard or someone like Jordan Grace, Triple J, I think we could say are glaring holes on the AEW roster. But the Kongs kind of make up for that.
Now, is Aja Kong, that 6-woman tag, or any of those gals signed?
I don't think so. I think it's an interpromotional thing. I mean, I don't remember what federation they're from. They just called them the Joshi wrestlers. But I don't know. I couldn't really tell them apart name-wise because, they just played the Awesome Kong Titantron over and over again.
It was really cool because it felt like 1997 to 1998 WWF, where random foreign matches would be booked. It felt like Taka Michinoku versus Aguila and random Mil Mascaras matches versus Super Porky. It just happened on the show. It was there, and Kenny Omega said, I want it, so they put it there, and it was entertaining as hell. And I think Moose the Mark, up to that point, it might have been the match of the night.
It was easily my match of the night up until that point. It was, I think the next match is pretty solidly in my book is the match of the night. It's the match I'm thinking of.
Are you talking about brother?
I think it was
brother versus brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask Vinman this. I don't know where to start, Vinman. I mean, the Natural, just he's 50 years old, and he probably had the match of his night. He's bleeding like a stuck pig. I don't think when did he stop bleeding? Yeah, I don't think it happened any time during the match.
Yeah, I don't think so. Probably not until he got to the backstage area.
My gosh.
Yeah, I mean, it was brutal. I will say that his attire was a big letdown. And Triple J, I think you would agree with me.
Long Island, am I missing? Is there something on Being the Elite that we missed about that red and black face paint? Only half of it. Okay, smarten us up on that.
I believe this aired on the Double or Nothing, Road to Double or Nothing on the Nightmare Family YouTube channel, Cody Rhodes' YouTube channel, which I would argue those were better than Being the Elite leading up to the show, just in terms of the build and the different kind of something you've never seen before. The way that they set this pay-per-view up through that program, the office scenes with Cody and the team, and Chris Jericho infiltrating his office, and also QT Marshall going out to Dustin Rhodes' ranch in the middle of nowhere to sign him to the match, and then they do the interview and the package with Dustin Rhodes talking about his face paint for this evening, talking about how this isn't a new beginning for him. This is for a way for him to get his brother to show some respect, who's never said thank you one goddamn time. And he said he was painting his face. The black represented death. The red represented life. And in there he was going in as his natural self for the first time in a long time. And he was ready to show his brother a thing or two about respect. And he did. Because after the match, his brother asked him to be his tag partner, but Dustin Rhodes was all business going into that match, and you knew he wasn't going to care if he bled. He did it. It was beautiful. I was brought to tears. It was the match of the night, and it was the entrance of the night. Don't forget Cody's entrance, Moose the Mark, which some would say stole the show. I'm sure a lot of your friends on Reddit love that more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, it was really interesting of Cody to sort of celebrate Game of Thrones by coming out with this big thrones and just, marking that this 11-year journey we've all been on with the cast in Westeros has finally ended. And so he smashes that big rock throne, which I must assume is what he's kind of representing Game of Thrones with. It's medieval, probably copyright issues. You can have the Iron Throne. When we smashed that, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm ready to say goodbye to Game of Thrones.
Okay, amazing. Enough of the bullshit, Moose the Mark sarcasm. This is a serious conversation about a match where a man bled half to death. Cody Rhodes was not referencing Game of Thrones at that moment, and you know goddamn well what he was referencing, Moose the Mark.
Yeah, I mean, this is a war.
It was a shot fired. It was
cathartic, I guess, but I don't know, Vinman. I really don't like mentioning the opposition.
Well, yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he didn't see the necessity of doing a smear piece like this.
I agree.
But WCW used similar tactics. And
they just gave away the results.
Well, they had, they did. They threw
Triple H himself did similar tactics.
Yeah, it got over. That got over. And if you're an upstart company like this, maybe you got to do something like this to get people talking. Is it a little disrespectful on Cody's part? Absolutely. But if it's gonna get you noticed, if it's gonna get more eyeballs on your product, and it's not an extremely poor taste, I guess you got to do it.
It was character assassination.
Yeah.
It was Archduke Franz Ferdinand type shit here. This was the beginning of a war. This was epic. And no one else could have done it on the roster but Cody Rhodes, because he is very much in a similar role to that of the man who he was referencing, Triple H.
Well, think about it. I mean, they don't have like major superstars that are, in the primes of their career. They don't have, this great, angles going on. They don't have a weekly television show yet. They didn't put on any, really tremendous matches that people are going to remember. So they got to do something to get noticed. And this is what they had to do.
Could you in any way construe this as cheap, a cheap shot, cheap heat, Triple J? Should Cody have not done this?
Yeah, he could have not done it. Like I said, I think it was cathartic. I think it was something that he wanted to do, just to release that tension from his body, I guess.
Do you think Triple H will react at all on television?
No.
I don't know about that. He slips those lines in there every now and then. I don't think. I don't think.
What would he do? Would he?
He'll just make a small comment.
Yeah.
He is not going to do anything elaborate.
Guys, you know how people have been leaking the scripts for Raw and posting like results. I hate to do this. I really don't want to spoil you. I don't want to blow up my spot, but I do know exactly how Triple H is going to respond to this incident. If you guys are interested, anyone not interested in spoilers, please turn off right now. But
wait, it's going to be on. Or it's tomorrow night. Something.
Yeah, this is going to be on Raw. I have the format sheet right here. This segment's produced by Fit Finley and Pat Patterson himself. So, I mean, okay, spoilers, turn off if you don't want it. Triple H is going to come to the ring. He's going to play his promo. He's going to introduce everyone, set up a main event with Baron Corbin, and then he's going to say, oh, yeah, All Elite Wrestling. And then he's going to take out a T-shirt. He's going to put it in the middle of the ring, and he's going to unzip his pants, and he's going to pee on it as the third hour of Raw starts to show that this is like the newer, edgier Raw. He's going to literally, he's going to be hydrating all day, and then he's just going to pee on an All Elite Wrestling shirt to kick off the new third hour of Raw.
What are the chances while he's doing that, R-Truth runs to the ring while he's being chased by the entire locker room? I'm hoping that happens in the new third hour of Raw.
Yeah.
If I'm pegging anything on Raw to be better than Double or Nothing, it's this third hour, which I'm looking forward to almost more than I was Double or Nothing now. 24/7 title, Brock Lesnar ready to cash in at a moment's notice, and Triple H's Johnson on an AEW T-shirt.
I didn't quite get what I was looking for in that Mick Foley promo, Triple J, but yeah. I really did. As soon as those lights went dim, I got really excited.
Yeah, I do like, not putting all the red and the blue lights on the crowd. Yeah, it wasn't exactly what we were looking for, but I mean, let's continue to stick with Double or Nothing right now. I got a few more things I wanted to bring up about it. You had the Lucha Brothers taking on the Short Elvises in the Young Bucks. Again, a bust ass match with people kicking out of stuff that they shouldn't be kicking out of. But I actually not very familiar with the Lucha Brothers other than their singles catalog. But I was very impressed about those two over like Rover. Pentagon Jr. can just yell Sierra Mero as many times as he wants, and the people are going to chant along with him.
It's actually now, because AEW has no restrictions on language, is Cero Miedo Puto. You got to add in puto now, because that's
what does that roughly translate to?
Dr. Calzones, if you could help Triple J out a little bit here with the Espanol being spoken in the ring during that match.
Puto is it's the Spanish word for bitch.
Oh. So is that going to fly on Turner?
I mean, doesn't Charles Barkley call Shaq a puto like always?
I mean, as long as a lot of people are like you, Triple J, that don't really understand what it means, we're good.
Yeah, well, I think we'll be fine there. And I think also JR is going to be fine. I had a lot of doubts about JR accepting this match and not getting extremely pissed off during it. But he held it.
He probably was. He just didn't let it come across.
He held it in. JR was the best part of this match, besides the Young Bucks dressing like Elvis. I hope they come out like Johnny Bravo next, Vinman. That'll be good. But JR
can only hope.
JR during this match, God damn it, this is a fucking good tag team match. Oh, how the fuck did he kick out of that? Oh, I could hear JR biting his thumb so he doesn't get super pissed off about someone kicking out of a 360 Mexican destroyer off of the top rope. But this match was a great tag team match, and JR said it like 9 times. That's how I know.
How does everybody feel about the 10 count, which they were really harping on earlier in the night?
This is America.
For once you make a tag, you can do the double team for 10 seconds instead of 5 seconds.
I didn't like it.
This is America. We count to 10. Outside the ring and inside the ring.
I like it actually.
I do.
I wish it would have been a 20 count on the
outside.
What
I did like was the time limits that were announced. I did like that.
Yeah, you're right. I like that. It's a professional sport. You need to know what the time limits are.
The best part about time limits are that it gets people who don't want the match to even be happening excited that it might end, or it's definitely going to end by a certain time. But then if it ends up going all the way to the time limit, they get mad. That's my favorite part about it. Oh, it's a 30-minute time limit. No way it goes that long. I can't wait for some of these draws that are going to happen in AEW. I think I'm most looking forward to the first time limit draw in All Elite Wrestling, Vinman.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't have one on the pay-per-view.
You can on night 1, but go to Moose the Mark here if we're going to talk some rumor and innuendo. Hangman Adam Page and Pac apparently couldn't happen because Pac refuses to do a job. Why can't that bastard not just have a time limit draw against the Hangman?
I really don't know, Long Island. The show didn't run particularly long. I mean, I
talking about it. It's like
I didn't
5
follow
hours
the story
long.
too closely.
But the issue with Pac, this guy, what's the word you're hearing on that? How could someone in 2019 be that hard-headed?
I mean, you're in this business for yourself. You're your number one asset.
I'll tell you something right now, and I could see this happening a whole lot in this company, is because you got all these former Bullet Club people that are, used to always winning every single match that they're in. And then you got all these people, other guys that are like, oh, I'm going to come in here, for a great opportunity. Then they're going to be asked to lose, and they're going to be like, what the fuck? I should have just stayed where I was at.
Well, that's the question you asked. Triple J, do you rather have a company where guys are politicking this way or even sitting out like Pac did, or do you rather have a company where it's 50-50 booking? I like this refreshment of Pac being a bastard and them having to maybe make a change there and have Hangman win the Battle Royale.
I'm not concerned because I think it's just a big work.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would they not have Pac there? They promoted him heavily going into the show.
Because it's going to make, it's a slow burn. It's going to make that eventual match at an AEW show even better.
I don't know if that makes any sense. When has anyone ever promoted someone to be in a big match and then 2 weeks before yanked him from the match inexplicably?
There was that one, I think it was a 6-man pay-per-view match. Moose the Mark, if you can back me up, Shawn Michaels, he wasn't in it for some reason.
Yeah.
Going before 14. That's just off the top of my head, at least. Sabu, obviously, being double booked.
Yeah.
Those were like logistical issues, personal issues. You're saying this was a booking decision. I don't think it was.
Well, it's a personal issue for Pac.
What about when Austin took his ball and went home?
That's what I want to see more of in AEW. Guys refusing to work unless they win. That's how you know it's good.
Well,
it's intense.
And this is the thing, that I'm most interested in this program coming up in the fall. They're harping on wins and losses mattering. Well, let's see some jobber matches. Let's see some enhancement talent out there getting guys over week after week with competitive matches for a whole month until a pay-per-view. If you do that, then I might start to get interesting.
I've got 2 words for you to explain to you how I know that's going to happen. Michael Nakazawa.
You think he's going to be the enhancement talent?
Oh yeah, he's going to be the best thing about AEW. He's going to do the job. He's going to be oiled up. He's Michael Nakazawa.
So how many matches is this guy going to have per night? I mean, is he the only one that's going to do that?
I mean, half the Casino Battle Royale, I think, you're going to see be doing those jobs. Brandon Cutler, the guy with all the face paint, Sunny Days, Sunny Kiss. We got a lot of enhancement talent in AEW ready to make everybody look like $1 million.
Yeah, and speaking about enhancement talent, I don't want to. I'm actually not proud to say this, but I have to point it out. Kenny Omega has never won a match in AEW.
He hasn't, and
no,
right. he goes to the back of the line. So I'm expecting for his next match at All Out. Who do you think he should be working? Triple J.
Well, I don't know. I mean, to Vinman's point about wins and losses matter, it shouldn't be very high on the card if you're going to stick to this strategy.
If you ask me, All Out should open with Moxley versus Omega.
You're kind of jumping the gun on this All Out show. I mean, we got the Fighter Fest.
Fighter Fest.
I guess you could say is probably
Omega's
not
booked.
Going to happen.
Omega's booked against Shima for Fighter Fest, I believe.
And I actually didn't know this, but Fighter Fest is happening on a night where you 2 gentlemen are going to be out at my house, so we may have to watch that live.
And I'm also, I mean, I guess I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but if you go to the AEW website, they have another event listed there, Fight for the Fallen, which is supposed to take place in Jacksonville, Florida at 8 p.m. on July 13th. So there you go.
And that show can involve some good matches, but I think the All Out shows their really next big worldwide pay-per-view show is my guess. But the tag match, we were on that. The Bucks got the win. I mean, wins and losses mattering. I can't imagine Pentagon Jr. accepting to do a job to anyone in such a big match. I can't believe that happened almost. I would not want to be the person to go to the backstage and tell Penta, you're losing tonight, senor. Would you, Triple J? It feels like a scary thing.
Well, Billy Gunn is a lot bigger than him. If that's who had to deliver the news, I don't know who actually took who ate the pinfall. I don't know if it was him or
it was Phoenix. You best
Animo Phoenix or
better fucking believe it was Ray Phoenix and not Pentagon Jr. taking that pin for sure. Then I think we're ready to go to the main event, which featured the debut of a mythical maneuver that a lot of people didn't even think was a real move going into the match. Triple J.
Yeah, of course, you're talking about the Judas effect, and I don't know who it was on commentary that pointed this out, but
oh my, Alex Marvez.
He didn't even. Yeah,
he's Mustamark's favorite commentator in AEW.
What is Alex Marvez's background? It seems like he had to do some work on the Speed Network or something. I'm not familiar with him. What did he do in the past?
I don't know. I think he's like a reporter. I think like Dave Meltzer's friends with him.
I thought he had something to do with the NFL.
Was he in the business prior to this? Or
can you quit asking goddamn questions and let someone who knows what's up explain to you? Alex Marvez was a president of the Football Writers of America Association. Very important organization of all the football writers covering the sport. He has had a Sirius XM NFL show for like 12 years or longer, maybe. He was a Fox NFL reporter, newsbreaker, writer. I think he even did some sideline stuff. So very heavily involved in pro football. As for pro wrestling, you could tell it was his first big show. But he saved his ass at the end of the night. because that might have been the best thing any of the commentators said going into any match. I don't know. He said, I'm going to lay this theory out on you, JR. I don't know if the Judas effect is a real move. I think he's just playing mind games. That is how you do commentary for pro wrestling. Plant seeds, make shit up. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's right. And well, I'll say this. I don't think this guy was as bad as everybody's saying. I think whenever it was just him and Excalibur on the pre-show, I thought he was excellent. And then, whenever JR got in there, that 3-man booth just wasn't working together.
Yeah, and also I think maybe he was a little intimidated being next to JR, but who would blame him? Excalibur, on the other hand, was just perfect all night long. He's got a defined role. Scream the names of moves and talk about who these guys are friends with.
Make Botchamania references and just tell everyone to go down little PWGs.
Is Excalibur part of the is he going to be doing commentary going forward every time?
Yeah, he's there.
He's better.
He's there. It's their signed announcers are those three, but I think number one and number two are JR play-by-play, and Excalibur's the number one color guy. Marvez, don't know why he was in there, maybe just to be kind of the social media talker.
He did all the press conferences and the pool party.
Yeah, he's needed. He's doing all right, but the traditional color and play-by-play are Excalibur and JR Triple J.
Yeah, I don't know. Has anybody? I was trying to think about this. I like Excalibur on commentary whenever we're hearing him, but anytime they just show that booth and you got this guy there with a luchador mask on, it takes me out of it.
Why? I don't understand. What he's a former wrestler who's never.
Have there been any other commentators that have worn a mask?
Yeah, Jushin Thunder
other than
yeah, Liger wears one every day.
Other than Triple A.
I think this sounds like a very nationalistic.
Yeah, but I never really listen to Liger.
I
think he's great.
I think it's fine, and he's great. He's
I said I like listening to him.
I like when they show him.
I just get taken out of the moment whenever they show me the three.
I don't. I think he's a handsome luchador. He looks a good mask. I don't see any problem with it. Maybe if he, who disturbing to look at more so is Alex Marvez. Actually, he's tough to look at. It felt like I was looking at Mark Madden kind of, man. It was tough.
Oh, I don't know about that.
They should when they're showing the announcers, maybe just go shoulder up, and then we'll be good. But they did a good job during the main event, which felt big time Moose the Mark, especially with JR screaming his head off at the end.
Yeah, this is one of those matches where JR really shined. The presentation was there. I guess it wasn't for the title. I watched the whole match thinking it was.
We got a new champion. We got a new champion.
Yeah, I had a great big fight feel. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Jericho could use a slightly better look.
Oh my God! I thought this was the best look of his career.
What would you change?
I know we got. I'd go back to the trunks, get a haircut, lose the hat.
I liked it. I thought it was better than that confusing Clockwork Orange thing where he had face paint. Definitely.
First of all, any look Jericho does is good. The hat is sweet. And what are you talking about, Ms. Mark? Who are you, Ron White, telling him to take off the hat? The hat is rad. His long hair is cool. Any look
Jericho jacket was badass.
Yeah.
My peak Jericho is wearing the trunks with the lighted jacket.
Well,
period.
You know what? That's what they
not
did.
Him anymore.
AEW showed you all. Everybody has a favorite version of Jericho, and AEW showed all of them to you before his entrance. And then out came the current Jericho, the man who won the first ever main event of All Elite Wrestling, and he debuted a new move. I would say the most devastating move to debut in a match since the Codebreaker Triple J. And I watched both of those instances live, and I think the Judas effect might be better. That was brutal.
Yeah, in layman terms, it was basically a spinning back elbow, I guess, is what you would call it. But it was effective, knocking out former world champion Kenny Omega.
Yeah, that spinning back elbow was enough to make John Jones blush. Am I right, Long Island?
Oh yeah, that was move of the night. It had all the mustard on it. It knocked Omega senseless. He didn't even realize that Dean Ambrose was in the ring until Dean Ambrose had him cinched up for a dirty deeds. And then all hell breaks loose, and I felt like I was watching Monday Night Raw in 1999, and the crowd was going berserk, and these two are fighting up on a bunch of poker chips. It was really the coolest main event and finish to a show you could have imagined for this show. I don't think it could have ended any better, Boost the Mark.
No, I mean, it was amazing. I do think for a match, it never quite got into second gear. I think the Wrestle Kingdom match was much better. And you could chalk that up to maybe Kenny Omega getting his nose broken in like the first 5 minutes of the match. But the ending, this wasn't about the match. This was about the aftermath. And Jon Moxley showing up, looking great. Love the gear. So much better than his fucking dirty tank top and jeans. You know I hate wrestling in jeans. You know, he looked like he raided the Briscoe brothers wardrobe for those pants. And I thought it was an awesome debut. The crowd was friggin' mental.
I mean, it was very, I'll say it was a very WWE ending, you know, basically doing an attitude adjustment off the big stack of
I see that.
Now, here's a question that I don't know. Has ever since, you know, leaving Dean Ambrose, has Jon Moxley appeared on any independent shows prior to this?
Not prior to this, but he's going to be on some non-AEW independent shows soon. He's wrestling like Pentagon Jr. in a match in August.
Well, that's what I wanted to know, because I thought it was just very strange that you're leaving, you know, that you would go from one company where you had to exclusively work to them to another where you have to exclusively work to them. But that doesn't sound like the case. So
I heard a rumor that Jon Moxley's facing Bret Hart at an AEW event coming up in Cleveland. Is that true, Mr. Mark?
My sources are Momon.
Okay.
Now we're Long Island.
All right. Well, I'll take your word for it then. I just heard some rumors, but that was a very, very cool way to finish it, and full of surprises. All Elite Wrestling's here. Hopefully they're here to stay, because I want more of it. I need more of that.
Yeah, Bret Hart's already penciled in for Minoru Suzuki.
I mean,
Tanaka.
All Elite Wrestling's here now, Vinman. After watching that show, being thoroughly entertained, having all this to talk about, don't you want more of that? Don't you want them to succeed? Don't you want to see people like Bret Hart get paid for appearances more often?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I want these guys to make money, but as I said before, I didn't see much difference between this and any other ROH or New Japan show I've watched. Over the past several years, it's just more of the same guys having the same generic matches.
Was this better than anything TNA was doing in 2007?
No, not even close.
They never ran the MGM Grand Garden Arena, though.
They didn't have to.
They didn't need to. I mean, they were selling out the Impact Zone.
Can't you just watch AEW without comparing it to a bunch of stuff?
I'm not.
And realize it's very exciting pro wrestling. Is that what we? Okay, good.
I'm not the one comparing it. I'm just, you asked my opinion, and you asked me if it was, if it was really good, and how it looked compared to other stuff, and not that I'm watching it, comparing it, but at the end of the day, did I see something that like really stood out? That was so groundbreaking that it fulfilled all the promises that Cody Rhodes has been telling me about how this is going to change the world forever. I'm sorry, it didn't. It's still the same old independent wrestling with generic guys having generic matches with nothing really on the line.
And Vinman, even if there was something that you saw and you wanted to see more of, you're not going to get a weekly television program till the fall. We don't know if that's October. Is that November? We know there's 3 confirmed shows.
Yeah.
And we don't even know if they're all going to be. I mean, All Out sounds like it's going to be televised.
And the Fighter Festival, I don't believe anything that's actually advertised for it. but I'm not going to really judge this company until the weekly television show happens. I mean, this is just a spot show as far as I'm concerned.
Well, okay, with all the superlatives to the side, did you enjoy it?
it was pro wrestling. I enjoyed some of it, but I mean, it's not, I didn't enjoy it more than, Monday Night Raw from this past week.
That's not
I didn't like it more than Money in the Bank. I mean, it was okay.
I understand all that, but that's not what I asked. I just want to know if you enjoyed it.
It was all right. Yeah, I mean, would I go back and watch something from it again? No, I would not.
Not even Bret Hart or the Super Smash Brothers?
Definitely not the Super Smash Brothers. Bret Hart, I just want to hear more interviews from Bret Hart about his upcoming matches.
Well, I've watched the Michael Nakazawa
spot. I'm going to be in Grand Rapids on July 13th. Going to be...
Well, Mustamar, how about
going to be working with Brian Cage in a 2 out of 3 falls match?
As we wind down the AEW Double or Nothing talk, do you have something different to say about it? I know you enjoyed it. Is it as profound of a show as some people are saying? And is that the consensus online afterwards? Is everyone marking out to it, bro?
The consensus online, yes, absolutely. I mean, we're just going to have to see. We're waiting on numbers to come in. We're waiting on ratings to come in. This is the flashy one. This is the one where we give you the benefit of the doubt. The question is, will they be able to continue the success? I think they can. I'm very bullish on AEW. I think it looked incredible. They had some production snafus, but this is literally their first time doing it. And I think they really could have something on their hands here.
How much better was this than the last several Ring of Honor shows you've watched?
The last Ring of Honor show I watched was in Madison Square Garden with you guys. It was pretty good. I don't know if the Ring of Honor parts were the best, but still, I don't know. They're not doing that bad.
And you, Triple J, I don't know if you want to compare it to other things or not, or just say if you enjoyed it, but All Elite Wrestling, Double or Nothing, a show that it's going to be talked about for a long time, no matter what.
I mean, I definitely enjoyed it. There was a lot. There were some new guys there that I didn't know. And honestly, they didn't do anything to make me want to find out more about them.
Not even Michael Nakazawa?
No, I don't need that comedy stuff on my wrestling.
Oh, all right.
So the one point I'll make, I mentioned this, that for me, it didn't really kick into gear until personal issues were involved. Going back to the G1 Supercard, which I think was a better show than Double or Nothing or even All In. You had Ospreay versus Jeff Cobb, no storyline there, and that was a hell of a match.
Fucking great. Yeah, I'll say All Elite Wrestling. This was a historic show because they already have the TV deal. It is history. Keep your ticket. They have an advantage. They have money. They have a great TV deal. They've got a great roster. They're going to do great things. But if we are comparing to recent pro wrestling, I think Vinman has points. A lot of it is similar or not even as good as some of the other stuff we're seeing from like Ring of Honor and New Japan when they get together. I think AEW still has work to do to keep in terms of production and make putting people in the right spots. But overall, this show for people who were coming to work together for the first time ever, this was fucking amazing. What a show.
Now, Long Island, let me put you on the spot right now. If there was no TV deal announced and the Turner executives were watching this pay-per-view to judge if they wanted this on their network, do you think that this show would have convinced them to put wrestling back on their network?
I think it could have, because like Moose said, the look of this show was tremendous. Good lighting, good use of crowd reactions, which we didn't talk enough about, I think, today, because there were a lot of those. A lot more than I expected, and you have
taking a page right out of WWE also.
And they did a lot of the things WWE does, and they did them maybe a little bit better and more less
or equivalent.
Or better or as good as if or better, which we really need to be speaking more on. But this was definitely a legendary show. I'm actually gonna watch it again after we finish today's show. But right now, no headlines for this week. What do you say we just all bleed like Dustin Rhodes to finish this thing off, Triple J?
Maybe not that deep of a cut, but yeah, we'll do our best. Everybody's talking about double or nothing, using the hashtag AEWDON. And, for all the things that they're saying they're going to be different from WWE, they're not going to be the same product, they're going to be an alternative. Something they did to the T is that 3-man booth. Everybody always says we need time to lay out, to absorb, to process what's going on. We don't need constant chatter. And you know what? They didn't listen. They put JR, Alex Marvez, and Excalibur for a wall of sound. Whether we needed the insight that they were giving us or not, we got it. So I just don't understand why everybody says 3 is too many, but that's what we got on this program. Perhaps at Daytona Beach at the Fighter Fest or Fight for the Fallen, wherever that is, or back in the Sears Center for All Out, we'll just have 2 commentators. But it doesn't matter how good you are, we really only need 2 voices on that show. And I hope we get it the next time.
I heard a lot of talk about all this bloodbath that we experience, making people uncomfortable. And I admit I was pretty uncomfortable too. There was a lot of blood. And it was quite horrific. But for all those saying this is unsafe, this is dangerous, is it any less dangerous than taking a power bomb through a ladder or a burning hammer off of a balcony or any of these other men? Is there anything in WWE? Is this any dangerous than getting superplexed onto a box of lighting equipment at WrestleMania, some of the hardest stage equipment in the world? I ask you, what's wrong with getting a little color?
Let me tell you something, Brainiacs. First thing I want to talk about here is a congratulations to Martin Truex Jr., who just won the Coca-Cola 600, which was highlighted today by WWE's own Charlotte Flair driving the ceremonial pace car. But the next thing I want to talk about is this super showdown in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Fantasy warfare once again coming to life. First time ever. Undertaker, Goldberg. This has match of the year written all over it. I cannot wait to see this one. I always wondered what it would be like if these two ever hooked up. All throughout 1998, 1999, we were always thinking about what would ever happen if these two stepped inside that squared circle together. And we are going to find out what's going to happen halfway around the world. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Make sure you tune in to the WWE Network to watch this once in a lifetime, first time, last time, only time event. It is going to be a happening. Oh, my brother, testify.
Brady X, the thing I learned most of all after All Elite Wrestling's Double or Nothing pay-per-view is that all professional wrestling out there today has something different, and everybody is consciously making an effort to entertain the asses off of the fans. Everybody's working so hard, and everything is good. I really can't say a bad word about anything going on in Impact, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, WWE, AIW, PWG, Progress, MLW, or any of them. Everybody works so goddamn hard. That's because nobody works harder than the professional wrestler, the most humble and noble profession under God's hot sun. And my eyes are opened after AEW's Double or Nothing, and the production people too, how hard they're working. So I think about that, and I just think about how it doesn't matter what you choose and what you like and what you're rooting for. It's all good. Everybody is working for you, and just enjoy it, because at the end of the day, AEW is as good or better than WWE, and WWE is as good or better than something like Impact, and Impact is as good or better than New Japan Pro Wrestling, and New Japan Pro Wrestling is as good or better than Ring of Honor Wrestling, and the list goes on and on and on. Brainiacs, enjoy it. It's the best time ever to be a pro wrestling fan.
The bitch ass fool of the week goes to the person who made the double or nothing ramp. How come you're not putting caution tape? How come you're not holding Bret the Hitman Hart's hand and casually leading him out of the ramp? When it comes to falling in hearts, they do not go along. So the bitch ass fool of the week is for the person who made it. You need to change the design. You need to put caution signs. Oh, be careful or you will slip and fall sign. Something. Because we need to protect Bret Hart.
What Harvard is screw job.
Well, you gotta have railings, Doctor. I just put one up in my backyard. Very important. You're right. Absolutely. Railings and hand. What about what? You know, everybody's talking about how it was. What was it? What was the inclusive gimmick they had? The first all-inclusive sensory accessibility. What about?
Yeah, what was that? I googled that. I still didn't understand.
Well, I could explain that to you, Triple J, in the next show because they explained it on the Road to Double or Nothing. But Dr. Calzones, what about handicapped accessibility or elderly accessibility?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the universe is trying to kill the Hitman or what's up. But someone hold this man's hand and lead him out of the arena.
Do you think Kota Ibushi's just trying to get a leg off?
It wouldn't shock me. He doesn't want to get stretched by the Hitman.
If AEW really wants to think outside the box, they should book Kota Ibushi to steal one of the Hart cats to really make this a personal feud. You know, he stole my cat, family cat.
I came home and Snowball was gone. I walked all around. They said, "Snowball, where are you?"
Man, what a great week of pro wrestling. A man called Wired not here, Brainiacs. Obviously, he was on his honeymoon this week, so hopefully he'll be back next week to talk about not watching All Elite Wrestling. But you heard the show live from his wedding. Moose the Mark, you missed the wedding. Did you catch the episode that we recorded at his reception at all?
No, I haven't. I've been too busy cramming for Double or Nothing. Maybe I'll check it out now that it's over.
You should. You should. I understand. You had to. I crammed for it, but go back and listen, Brainiacs. It's one of the most beautiful episodes of BBR, live from a wedding called Wired. Highly encourage you to go listen to that back in the archives. Or any of our other old episodes. Like, sometimes, Vinman, I know you'll just go back and listen to pre-shows before things like, I don't know, Hardcore Justice 2013.
Yeah, that's some of the best content out there today.
I mean, people like talking and listening to shows about old shows. We got those back in the archive, Brainiac, so go check it out and let us know what you thought of AEW. Was it better or equivalent to WrestleMania? Let us know at the Brainbusters. Tweet it, read it, tout it, shout it, be all about it. At the Brainbusters. Twitter, Instagram Junior, Facebook. Anything left, Triple J?
No, I think that's all for this week, Double or Nothing. We actually didn't talk very WWE stuff, but there's going to be a lot to get to next week. I believe isn't Takeover 25 happening.
Takeover 25 in Hartford.
I'm looking forward to that B show coming up, breaking it all down.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, Mil Calzones, what do you got planned for the B show before NXT 25 Takeover?
Well, if a man called Wired ever makes it back from his honeymoon, we should have a lot of things. Also, the return of Mil Calzones to professional wrestling starts tomorrow.
Yes, it does, because Mil Calzones is going to be watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown live every week, and I hear that through the Marburger rumors, the corporate newsletter that comes out, you have maybe some new shows coming up, Doctor. Can we look forward to some stuff like that?
You got to keep it, hush hush, still in the works. So just look out. If one day it'll just drop and you'll just be like, wow, today's a good day.
Then keep an eye, Brainiacs, on that Brainbuster radio feed on any podcast gimmick. Moose the Mark, you got any parting words?
No, just I'm pretty pumped about pro wrestling.
I am. I feel like pro wrestling is Sonny Kiss's ass, and it just filled my face all full of great smells, and I just want more of it.
Triple J, do you think one of Vince's stooges told him about what happened during that pay-per-view, and Vince was just saying, "That's it. Come on, come and get me.
Come on. Hey, come on, you son of a bitch." I'm still not, John Moxley still may be a mole. I wouldn't rule that out.
All right.
I would love nothing more.
I think I saw even a bigger ring on Renee Young's finger. I don't know where the cash for that came from.
You know what? Let's end the show the right way. In tribute to AEW and our new favorite commentator, Alex Marvez, Triple J, I'm going to end the show with a theory of mine. That wasn't even John Moxley. We got to get the hell out of here, Brainiacs. For Jumpin Jacob J, Vinman on limited dates, Mil Calzones on the unos and doses, Moose the Mark on the internet gimmicks, a man called Wired, the Sultan of social media, sultanizing on his honeymoon, and Long Island Iced Tea. I'm Long Island Iced Tea saying, I got to get the hell out of here, and I want to thank you